This is an important chapter in John's Gospel. We are now near the end of Jesus' public ministry. This is the last and greatest of Jesus' signs in the so-called Book of Signs. After this, the authorities actively begin plotting to kill Jesus. We have seen attempts by them to stone Jesus and attempts to arrest him at a festival, but now with the chief priests and Pharisees, the plot begins in earnest. Jesus has been staying across the Jordan, away from the trouble in Jerusalem. He is informed of Lazarus' illness and comments, "This illness does not lead to death. Rather, it is for God's glory, so that the Son of Man may be glorified through it." We remember the purpose of these signs, and this echoes what he said about the blind man in chapter 9. What looks like disaster is really to show God's glory. Jesus stays 2 days before making a move. This reminds us of his reply to his mother at the wedding in Cana. "My hour is not yet come." Jesus has his own sense of timing. He announces to the disciples that it is time to go back to Judea. They are incredulous, knowing the danger they left behind. Jesus appears to know now that Lazarus has died, though the disciples do not. He tells them, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to waken him." This is a beautiful sentence. Earlier in the Gospel, chapter 6, verse 40, Jesus said, "This is indeed the will of my Father, that all who see the Son and believe in him may have eternal life, and I will raise them up on the last day." It is an amazing thought that for every believer, Jesus will, on one bright eternal morning, say about us what he says about Lazarus. "I am going there to wake him up." This is like the hymn that the first Christians sang, which Paul quotes in Ephesians 5:14. "Sleeper, awake, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." In chapter 10, speaking about his role as the Good Shepherd, he says he will lay down his life for the sheep. "No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have the power to lay it down, and I have the power to take it up again." This story illustrates something of this power. When Martha meets him, he tells her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live, and everyone who lives and believes in me will never die." Even though Jesus knows his prayer will be answered, he cannot help but be grieved at what he sees and weeps. But the verb translated greatly disturbed implies anger as he comes face to face with the tomb. Death is the enemy. Satan told Eve that God had lied, that they would not die. But Paul says in Romans 5 that because of Adam, death reigned. But here now is the resurrection and the life, standing before a tomb, summoning forth the dead one. Many of the Jews believed, but the plot to kill him begins. Here Caiaphas unwittingly prophesies why Jesus must die. "It is better for you to have one man die for the people than to have the whole nation destroyed." The greatest of John's ironies is on display here. Jesus is the resurrection and the life, but the authorities want to destroy him.